Southern Ocean airflows are on the way. Hello, kia ora, I'm Philip Duncan. Thanks for joining us for our Thursday weather update, recorded on the 23rd of May. We've got a cooler change or a colder change, depending on how you look at it, coming in over the next few days and in fact lingering for a big chunk of the rest of the month. We've only got a week or so to go though. This is it here. You can see it going around this high pressure zone, the same one stuck south of Australia. And so over the coming days, the cooler airflow is going to come in. It is not a polar blast, but it is certainly cooler airflows coming off the Southern Ocean. And they'll be different to the airflows caused by the low pressure zone, which is now split in half into two systems. That's been driving in a southeasterly for the North Island. Sure, it's a little cool in some areas, but it's actually still a little bit warmer than it should be for this time of the year. Now, something a little bit different, but still talking about the wind around the country. I want to talk about Lisa Blair, currently on her yacht around Bay of Plenty, coming up towards the Coromandel Peninsula and heading back into Auckland. Lisa Blair is doing the Round New Zealand solo non-stop record attempt. It looks as though she is going to do it. 16 days, look at this, 16 days when we took this snapshot out at sea. Here's the interesting note. She was asked a question on ABC Radio out of Australia. What is the most dangerous part of your trip? What's the biggest risk? And she said sleep deprivation, because over the 16 days out at sea, she's only allowed to have a 20-minute sleep at the most. So 20-minute nap, then back to check things again. So that's pretty rough for 16 days. And she's coming in tonight towards Auckland. The southerly winds a little bit working against that, so it might be a little bit of a slow track coming in and around into Auckland itself. But hopefully, Lisa, your incredible journey comes to an end this evening, or at least tonight at some point. Well done on what you've done so far. All right, let's have a look at the weather forecast for Friday. And that colder change comes into the lower South Island, and I'd class it as cooler for the North Island. It's not freezing, but it's certainly a little bit cooler than what you had over the last few days. The blue line measures air thickness, so that shows that we've got a cooler, drier setup, but the showers that will come off the Southern Ocean will be cold for Southland and Otago, and that'll fall as snow along the mountains and ranges. And these are rain showers, obviously, the further up the country you go on both sides of the North Island there on Friday. You don't always get that. Usually it leans one way or the other, but it just seems to be lining up with the offshore low and the incoming sou'wester. So both the west and the eastern coastlines get it. Maybe not so much if you live in Manawatu or Horowhenua. Into Saturday, now we're into the classic sou'wester ahead of a high pressure zone. So the whole country's got the southwesterly winds. They'll be a little bit more westerly in some places, a little more southerly here and there, but you get the idea. Like I say, this is not coming off Antarctica, but certainly there's a very cold portion of it here, just clipping the lower part of New Zealand, and eastern areas, you are mostly dry. By Sunday, stormy system out here, southeast of the Chatham Islands and the Antipodes Islands. We've got showers just brushing a few coastal areas. The pale blue on the map means just the risk of a shower, or so it won't be a major rain event day, but there could be a few showers lingering along the western side, a bit windy through Waikato and Auckland, Coromandel Peninsula areas. Okay, let's go on to next week. Not a great deal of change. The high pressure zone over here hasn't moved much, still dry for Aussie, but we might get a slightly milder airflow for some of you in the north of New Zealand, because even though it's still a sou'wester, you track the origins of that isobar and it goes back into Australia pretty quickly, but a colder story down here in the lower part of the South Island. And then into Tuesday of next week, a lot of westerly winds coming out of Australia. They might feel a bit cold still from the leftover southerly, southwesterly, whatever you want to call it. There'll still be those showers. So plenty of showers on the way for some areas along the western side of New Zealand, but the overall accumulation won't be much. And in fact, we're still expecting a number of places across New Zealand to be drier than average as we go into next week. That is all from me for today. We'll keep you up to date with our next video update on Friday as we track these showers and the cooler airflows that are on the way. We'll see you then.